Okay, so we are doing rational functions, which if you will remember, that's what an inverse variation graph looks like. Inverse variation ends up with a rational function. When you type this into Desmos, 1 over x, what are you seeing? Curves. You're seeing a curve here. Go ahead and sketch that in. You're seeing a curve there, and you're seeing a curve here. Okay? All right. So a rational function always has two curves. It always has two curves. Remember how on the homework problem last night when you graphed it, there was only one curve? That's because it was a word problem. And so can your number of decorators be negative? No. Okay, your number of decorators cannot be negative, so it only shows you the first quadrant. Okay? All right, on these graphs, we have a new vocabulary word. It's called a asymptote. All right, and there's actually two of them. So this is what's new today. There's things called asymptotes. Those are lines that the graph never crosses. Okay? So in this particular example, what will your curves never cross? The x-axis and the y-axis, okay? And instead of writing x-axis and y-axis, we're actually going to write x equals 0 and y equals 0. Which one of these is vertical? X equals 0 or y equals 0? X equals 0. X is your vertical, so x equals 0 is right here, and y equals 0 is right there, okay? Those are lines the graph never crosses, okay? All right, so let's do a few examples. Just like in everything we've done this year, the a value, the number in front, if it's negative, what does it make it do? If it's negative, it reflects it, okay? And then if it's bigger than 1, it makes it stretch. If it's less than 1, it makes it, yeah, shrink is fine, okay? Or compress, either one's fine. This b value, the number with the x, always moves it left or right, okay? And it does the opposite, okay? It does the opposite. And then your c value moves it up or down, okay? All right. Well, see, here's the thing. It has to be, you're right, it has to be inside of something. Either it has to be inside parentheses, inside a square root. In this case, it's inside of a fraction is how they justify that, okay? Good question, though. All right, let's type this one into Desmos. Go ahead and type that one in. And if you have not typed today, that means it's your turn. 1 divided by x minus 2 plus 3. Don't forget that the plus 3 has to be out to the side. So hit your over arrow, plus 3. All right, so when you put it in Desmos, you see this graph, right? Do you have that same thing? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and first talk about the shifts. This minus 2, sorry, go back to this page. This minus 2 is with the x. It's inside of a fraction. You can put parentheses around it if that will help you. This minus 2, does it move it left or right? Right. Good. It moves it right 2. And so on your graph, you're going to go right 2 and draw a dotted line. That's going to be the asymptote, the line that it never crosses. So go right 2. I know it's hard to see. Go right 2 and draw a dotted line. What does the plus 3 make it do? Good. So the plus 3 makes it go up 3. So you go up 3 on the graph and you draw a dotted line. So you go up 3 on the graph and draw a dotted line. And then you're going to draw in your curves. Your curves hug those lines. They get close and close and close to those lines, but they never cross them. Those are your asymptotes. Okay? Those are your asymptotes now. So draw in your curves. Okay? All right. Your horizontal asymptote, that's the line that goes horizontal. Horizontal goes across, and it's always going to be a y equals. Horizontal lines are y equals. What number is ours at? 3. Good. Okay. Y equals 3. We went up 3, so the y value, y equals 3. Okay. All right. The vertical asymptote is the line that goes up and down. Vertical is up and down. Remember when they ask a basketball player what its vertical is? What does that mean? How high he can jump up. Okay. So vertical is up and down. So x equals, good. Go over to your x, and that one crosses at 2. Okay. X equals 2. Okay. All right. Domain in these cases, domain, so the graph goes everywhere. Sorry, make this picture everywhere. The graph goes, oh, so let me back up. Domain is left to right. Okay. So if you look at the left, is there an arrow going to negative infinity? Yeah. Yes. Okay. There's one going to negative infinity. What about to the right? Is there one going to infinity? Yeah. But what number will it never be? The x value. What number will it never be? What x will it never be? 2. It will never be 2. It will never cross this dotted line. So there's a couple ways to write it. You can say negative infinity to 2 and then 2 to infinity, because it will never cross 2. So that's one way to write it. It goes from negative infinity, and then it can't be 2, and then it goes from 2 to infinity. Another way to write it is all real numbers, but x cannot be 2. So you can choose either way to write it. This stands for all real numbers, but x cannot be 2. It's another way to write it. And some of y'all might want to make a note again that domain is left to right, because some of y'all have forgotten that, okay? Domain is left to right. All right, what about range? It is bottom to top, okay? It's bottom to top. If I go back to my graph, if I look at the bottom, does it go forever? Yes. If I look at the top, does it go forever? Yes, but there's one number it skips over. So it goes from negative infinity, and then it skips 3, and then it goes from 3 to infinity. So you could write it negative infinity to 3, 3 to infinity. Okay? Or you could write it, bless you, all real numbers, y cannot be 3. Okay? All real numbers, y cannot be 3. All right, x-intercept is where it does what? Good. Touches the x-axis. And let's go back to Desmos for that one. Let's go back to Desmos. And click. Where does it cross the x-axis? All right. So it crosses the x-axis at 1.667, comma 0. Okay. If this was a multiple choice test, and the answer choices were fractions, what could you do? Well, okay, so let's try that real quick. Let's type in 1.667 math, enter. 1.667 math, enter. It's actually not giving you the right fraction, because what do you guess this number is? Anybody know what kind of number this actually is? It's repeating. So type in this. Type in 1.66 all the way across your screen. 1.6, and just hold down the 6 button and go all the way across your screen. 1.66. Now hit math, enter.
Hold the 6 button.
Okay, sorry. You just have to keep hitting it. What are you getting? 5/3. So that's actually the fraction that goes with it. You could also just type all your answer choices in the calculator and change your answer choices to decimal. Okay, it's another test strategy. Okay, y-intercept. Let's look at Desmos. Where does it cross the y? This one's pretty straightforward. It crosses at 0, 2.5. 0, comma 2.5. Okay. All right, is this function increasing or decreasing? Trace it with your pencil or finger. If you trace it, this one is decreasing. It doesn't matter which curve you trace, it is actually decreasing. Okay? It is decreasing. Okay? All right. Let's do the next one. What do I want you to do first? Type it in Desmos. -1. You don't have to clear it out. You can just change. Yep. You can make it a -1 and then change it to x plus 3 and then minus 5. Okay. Before we graph it, let's go ahead and talk about what these numbers do. What does the negative make it do? Reflect. Very good. Do you notice on Desmos that the curves are opposite of the other one? Okay. So they have reflected. What does the plus 3 make it do with the x? Good. Left 3. It goes opposite. So the plus actually goes left. And the minus 5? Down 5. Okay, so you're going to go left 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to draw a dotted line. Go left 3, draw a dotted line, and down 5, and draw a dotted line. And I know it's hard to see, so just estimate. Left 3, dotted line. Go left 3 and draw you a dotted line. Down 5, dotted line. Okay, and this time when you draw your curves in, look at Desmos. They are in this quadrant and that quadrant, right? And that's all because it was a reflection. That's why they went in opposite quadrants. Okay? All right, my horizontal asymptote is always going to be the y equals line. So that's the horizontal line I have right here. Where is it crossing? Y equals -5. Right here. That's at -5. And then my vertical asymptote, x equals, where's my x line? -3. So basically you're just giving the equations. You're just given the equations for your dotted lines. Okay, those are your asymptotes. All right, your domain, which one do you want to do, the infinity one or the all reals?
All real.
Okay, all reals, x cannot be, let's go back and look, what will x not be? -3, okay. All reals, x cannot be -3. Range, all reals, y cannot be -5. Okay. All reals, x cannot be -3 and y cannot be -5. Okay. All right, on Desmos, what's your x-intercept? Click it. Oh, I haven't typed it in, so I'm gonna have to trust y'all. What's your x-intercept? Can somebody say they agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, -3.2, comma 0. And what about your y-intercept? Okay. All right, so how would I type that in my calculator to make it a fraction?
5.33333.
Good, you'd go all the way across the screen. -5.3, go all the way across the screen. Math, enter, enter. And that's -16/3. Okay? All right, and the last one, is this one increasing or decreasing? Very good, it's increasing. If you trace it, it is going up, okay? So this one is increasing. Okay. All right, flip it over. All right, number 1, which direction does the M move the graph? out two answers that can't be right. So here's your M. What do we know that number moves it? Up or down. Good. Up or down. So we can mark out C and D, right? Okay? And I heard some of y'all say down. Why are y'all picking down? Because it's a minus, okay? They're picking down because it is a minus. Ah, my pencil's not working. All right. Number 2, what are the x and y intercepts of f of x equals, I got it, thank you, negative 2 over x plus 5 plus 4. How am I going to do that? Thank you. Put it in Desmos and let the Desmos do the work. Okay? Hey guys, does it matter if you put the negative out to the side or with the 2? Does it matter?
Yes.
Actually, it does. Actually, it does. You can put the negative out front or with the 2. Type it in Desmos. Okay, so click the X one. Where's it crossing the X? What's Desmos saying? Hey guys, too much talking. What is Desmos saying for the X intercept?
What? It's 4.5. No, it's not. 4.5.
Okay, guys, is this what Desmos is giving you?
Yeah.
All right, for your x-intercept. Okay, so let's look at our answer choices. I don't see a negative 4.5. I do see some answer choices with fractions. So let's type it in our calculator. Negative 4.5. Math, enter. And it's negative 9 over 2. Okay, so if, all right, does that one have more than one decimal place? So you don't extend the box. Only when it has one line, okay? And guys, what is it giving you on Desmos for the y-intercept? What is it saying? 3.6? Okay. Is 18 over 5 that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Number 3, which of the following is the horizontal asymptote of f of x equals 1 over x minus 6? Okay? All right, once again, what would be a good strategy? Put it in Desmos, let's see what the graph looks like. 1 over x minus 6. And what does asymptote mean? All right, it's the line that it doesn't cross. Okay? All right, it's the line that it doesn't cross. So when you put it into Desmos, 1 over x minus 6, I need the horizontal line that it never crosses. And let's look at our answer choices. Is x equals negative 6 a horizontal line? No. Okay. What about x equals 1? So your choices are either y equals 6 or y equals 0. Okay. Which one? Let's look. Let's look. If I go to 6 on the y, would it cross it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, if I go to 0, does it cross it? No. Okay. Yep, so D, y equals 0. All right, last one, type it in. 3 over x minus 1 minus 2. 3 over, because it doesn't cross. No, it doesn't cross y equals 0, which is that. Y equals, well, first of all, it says horizontal. X equals 1. X equals 1 is a vertical. So that's why you can mark out those. And then if you go to y equals 6, right there, you do a y equals 6 line. It crosses. Okay? Alright, let's type it in. 3 Good. Negative infinity to 1, and then 1 to infinity. Okay? Negative infinity to 1, 1 to infinity. So what answer choices can I mark out? B and D. Okay? Another way to tell whether it's going to be positive 1 or negative 1, for this minus 1, do you do the same or opposite? Opposite. So it turns into a positive 1. Okay? What about this negative 2? Do you keep it the same or do the opposite? Same. Keep that one the same. So what answer has negative 2 in it? C.